Here are the materials we're going to be using. Most of them are the same as for the other journal. I used this tag, clothing tag, to make the exterior of the journal. So that's what we'll be using to make this second journal. If you saw that video I did several months ago about paper, these are two of the sheets that came out of one of those flip books of paper, and I've chosen this one for the front cover and this one for the back cover. At first I thought about leaving this edge showing, and I don't know, what do you all think about that? Because I wasn't sure, and what I ended up doing was covering it in washi tape. But I would love to know what you think, if I should have just left it, which I think would have been fine. So I guess I could make this one leaving it showing and see which one we like better at the end. I don't know, it's crazy, I still can't decide. I know it's a simple thing, but so let me know what you think about that. And then I chose this scrapbook paper for the inside. And I'm going to cut a little bit off of each side so the image is a little more centered on the cover. So I'm just taking about the same amount off of each side. And I want to be careful not to cut it too short. Now I'm going to do the same thing with the back. And because it would cut into this butterfly quite a bit if I use the blue butterfly, I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing I did on the other one and use this butterfly. And again, marking where I want to cut the bottom here. And I want to keep as much as possible of this butterfly, so I'm going to have to cut off a little bit of these roses, but there'll still be quite a bit of the roses showing. I can't remember if I said made up my mind or not, but I'm going to leave the border like it is instead of covering it with washi tape, and then see which one turns out more appealing. And again, please let me know in the comments what you think. So I'm going to ink the edges of both of these. I think it's really neat and fun to save things like clothing tags and then find down the road where you can use them in your journals and paper crafting. These are nice to put inside of a bigger journal even. And that's probably what I would wind up doing with these. But they can also be their own little standalone journals, like if you've seen the other video I did on small journals. Those were mostly made out of scraps and things that would have been thrown in the trash and things that I found. And those are standalone journals. But these being only one signature and made out of something not quite as stiff, and also these are just a little more slender than those. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is these will make nice inserts in bigger journals, and I think that's fun to have a journal inside a journal. I'm going to use a combination of a glue stick and some tacky glue, and use the tacky glue especially on the corners and around the edges. And also, I know everyone will be different, but I'd be interested to know, do you like videos that have a lot of talking in them, like instruction about what I would be doing, or do you just like it when the process is shown without a lot of talking? Just as I continue to make videos and you all are with me, I just would like to know your thoughts, and then if there are a lot of different views, I can maybe make some one way and some another, but I'd just love to know your thoughts. So thank you in advance if you're willing to let me know that in the comments. Also, if you're new here, love for you to introduce yourself, and also let me know if you have any questions or if there are things that you would like to see me do videos on. I'm also working on my rock decoupaging video. And for everyone who's already introduced yourself, thank you so much for doing that, and for the comments you've made about what you'd like to see more videos on. I appreciate you taking the time to write the comments, and I really enjoy reading everyone's comments. I think it would be fun to see where everyone is from. That would be also really nice to know if you would like to share. So I'm just going to glue this down with the same process of glue stick and tacky glue. And then I'm going to put a border of washi tape on the inside, so I'm not going to need to ink these edges. I'm going to take the bone folder and get that pressed out really well. I have just a little excess, I'm going to need to trim that off. And I'd rather have that than cutting it too short with that cutting tool. And then, since I'm using scraps again, I wouldn't have enough to just cut another piece. And for small projects like this, I really like to use the scraps, and also there's some kind of sense of, I don't know what the word is, accomplishment or something, when I can take the scraps from a leftover project and finish up a journal with it. without adding more. I guess it's just a little personal challenge I like to give myself. Now I'm going to put the washi tape around the inside. I'm going to use this one that I used on the outside of the other journal. And I guess you could miter those edges. I'm not going to. Sometimes I have, but I'm not going to today, because I'm going to be putting on a book corner anyway, so you won't really see that. And this is not necessary at all. I'm just going to do it for the visual purposes only. And I'm going to put washi tape down the middle of the spine. Now I'm going to crease that before I fold it. Now I'm going to ink the edges. Now the foundation of the cover is ready. And I don't know, so far I'm liking the border left like it is. It pops, I like that. Now we can put the journal plate on. And it's okay that I have to put the brads through and they're going to come through, because I'm going to be putting these leftover pieces in here as pockets, and that's going to cover it up. So I'm going to be using this piece of lace behind this word journal, and then covering it with a book plate. I like to use these pinking shears when I cut the lace. Just it gives it a little bit of an uneven edge, and I like how that looks. I'm going to use these little brads to put the plate on. And I'm putting it here because that is kind of a blank spot and seemed like a good spot to put this. Then I'm going to protect my desk and poke the holes here. I'm going to flatten those down really well. Now I'm going to cover these white stripes with washi tape. Okay, now I want to put these scraps in here as the pockets, and just going to need to cut those down so that they fit. And I want this butterfly to show, so I'm going to cut off the other side. And I'm going to ink the edges. And in the end, I'm going to ink the whole inside cover and make it look a little more distressed. And I'm going to use this piece on the inside of the back. Same process, I'm going to just cut that off and have the butterfly be showing. When I glue these down, I'm going to leave the inside open because it's going to be a pocket. So I'm just going to be gluing around the edge of each side and the bottom. I like to take a wet wipe around the edge. It seems to help with getting the glue all the way around the sides to adhere. Now I'm going to put this washi tape on at the bottom. And I'm going to leave a little bit of an edge of the other washi tape showing and not go all the way down to the bottom. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and put on the book corner. Okay, so I want to take this gold marker and go around all of the washi tape, and that'll give it a little bit of a distressed look. And then I'm going to go with this Tim Holtz Vintage Photo brown color and kind of just wash it over the top of everything. And I'm going to use my ruler Now we need to work on our signatures. I have this little piece of leftover handmade paper, and I'm going to be putting these vellum pieces on. I'm going to be sewing these on. To either side of this. These are the papers now I'm going to use to make the rest of the signatures, and here's this one, so I've sewn around it, and here's the back, so that one's finished. Now I'm going to make a little pocket page out of this one, and I'm going to use this paper to put on the back of these so that they are journaling pages, and then I'm going to have 1 or 2 plain pages with the little dots on them. So I've already measured this one and have it about the size I want it. And I could go a little bit larger on some of them, and I probably will here a little bit larger, but I just want to be careful not to get it so big that when I close it, they stick out. So this sheet I'm going to make a pocket out of, and so I've cut it down to the right size this way, and then I'm going to fold up the bottom. And make a pocket. And I'm going to sew around most of these pages. And I'm also going to round the edges of all of it. I just like to do that for pages in my journals. So I'll do that on all the edges. I'm also going to be inking the edges of all the pages that are going to go in. I'm also going to line the back of this pocket with the same paper. So I just want to round the outside corner on this one, since this needs to be straight up here. And I'll just do the same for the other side. This time I'm going to round this outside corner over here. Okay, I think that's all I'm going to do for this one, and as far as signatures. And now I'm going to go and sew around all of them. Okay, so I've sewn around all of these and created this signature, and I used alternating black and pink thread. Here's our little pocket made here, and these are all the pieces I've chosen. They're identical to what's in the other journal to make the embellishments out of. And I'm going to go ahead and work with those and put those together, and then I'll show you, and we'll put them in the journal. Let's put a belly band on this one. I've never done it this way before, but I thought instead of just putting it on one side and the other, or just one or the other side, I could just go ahead and run it across like this before I bind the journal, and then just secure it on either side, and then it will tighten itself up by closing and binding it in the journals. This is from a Kleenex box, and I've used a flower punch to create a bunch of different colors of flowers, and then I'm going to put this little paper flower on top. I'm going to go ahead and make them basically the same. Well, I wish I had sewn this down instead of thinking of this later. That would have been better to have sewn this on there, but I didn't, so maybe next time I'll think of that. So I just put a little piece of cellophane up under here to keep it from sticking to the paper after I glued it, and I'm going to let that dry. While that one page is drying, we can go ahead and embellish the rest of this. I'm not going to do a whole lot to it. Just keep it pretty simple. I'm pretty much just going to exactly do what I did for the other one. I'm going to pick a saying out of this book here and put it right there. I like this one. It says, "A record to leave behind." So I thought that was fitting since this is a legacy journal. A little one, but it still is a legacy journal. Okay, so let's go ahead now and bind the signature in place, and just find the middle. First, be sure all your pages are situated the way that you want them. And then find the middle and poke your hole. And I usually go ahead and put the needle through so that it holds the place and the pages don't move. And then we'll come down and poke our second hole. And I usually go on through then too. And then come in about the same distance and poke your last hole. And then come back through at the center. And then I wrap this around. And then pull it tight and tie it in. Just snip off the excess. So there we go. And we'll just take the little pieces that I have made, and I've put writing spots on the back of these. I like to have a lot of places to write, so I've made all of these little writing spots. And I'll just tuck those in, and then there's this little tag. This is still drying. I just put a little this piece of cellophane here, so that'll have to stay till it dries, but that belly band will hold something there. There's the sticker. Lots of writing space. And I just decided to tie these with this elastic lace ribbon. So there they are, the two little journals. And so let me know, which one did you like? Do you like this one with just the regular tag showing, or this one where it's covered with washi tape? Well, I've enjoyed spending this time with you today and making this little journal, and I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.